Welcome to Caleb's Basketball Pod. Real quick update. I just want to apologize that it's been so far between on uploads and videos. I'm trying to work on getting more out to you guys, and I want to work on trying and get at least more guests so I can bounce discussions, topics, ideas off of someone else, and it'll be more entertaining for you guys. And I've kind of messed up on my team previews I was going to try to do. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to switch up a little bit. We're going to go both conference previews right now. That's what we're going to start with. Right now it's going to be the Eastern Conference. I'm going to do another video later on in the week of Western Conference preview. I will start at 15 and I will work my way up to the top. I will do my prediction on most surprising team, most disappointing team, and favorites to win. And then I will pick the two teams I think will be in the conference finals and who I think is coming out of the East at the end, despite the rankings. And we'll talk a little bit about each team if I felt we need to as we get to them on certain rankings. But yeah, let's jump right into it. Number 15, looking around in the Eastern Conference, for number 15, we're going to go the Brooklyn Nets. I talked a little bit about them on the preview like a week or two ago. I don't think there's a lot there that has to do with winning, unfortunately, and I'm sorry to Brooklyn Nets fans if you're watching this or listening to this, but I don't really see I do like the pickup of Michael Porter Jr. I like Cam Thomas. Unfortunately, Cam Thomas has not been great on winning. He's been great on getting a lot of points, but has not made a lot of difference in Brooklyn's wins. Do you want to see what Michael Porter Jr. does as a star player? But I still don't think there's enough talent for them to really even compete for a play-in. Number 14. Number 14, we're going to go the Chicago Bulls. Chicago Bulls roster, we do still have Josh Giddey, we do have Kobe White, we do have Nikola Vucevic. They did get Isaac Okoro, they have Ayo Dosunmu, Trey Jones, Patrick Williams, Kevin Huerter. But I don't really see that go-to guy on their team. I do think they get some victories, some surprises, some upsets. But I think that to the point where they're going to trade off Vucevic, and I think now at this point they are going to end up just rebuilding. I've talked about them being stuck in between and being that in-between team. I think we're finally to the point where they traded away Zach LaVine. They don't have DeMar DeRozan anymore. I think they're going to start the rebuild. We did see Josh Giddey get signed back on a cheaper contract than he wanted. I like that pickup for them, but there's just not a lot there, and I don't see a lot of winning for them. And I think they went from mediocre to not even mediocre. And it would be nice to see, though, if Kobe White can be that go-to player. We know he's very talented, very skilled. Now without the Zach LaVine or DeMar DeRozan there, see what we can unlock for him and see if he can be that go-to 20-some point game scorer, and I think he can be. So you may unlock that talent, and you may find a high draft pick, but I think towards mid-year they'll probably trade off Vucevic, maybe Kevin Huerter, maybe other veterans on the team, and just have the young guys and expect a rebuild and hope for a high draft pick. Number 13, I'm going to go the Washington Wizards. I do like that they added some vets on this team, and I really respect that move, that they finally got their veterans. They have Chris Middleton, they have CJ McCollum, they got him from the Jordan Poole trade. They do have still have some good younger players too. Still have, they traded for Cam Whitmore. They have Alex Saw. They have Trey Johnson, Bob Carrington, Bilal Coulibaly, Keyshawn George. Talent's moving up in Washington. I don't think you necessarily need the draft picks, but I think you're going to be around the area to get good draft picks. I don't think it's necessary, and that's the need, and that's what you're looking for. But it doesn't hurt to get them, maybe trade them for a veteran star player and start trying to work your way back into the play and see if you can get some free agent signings from that and go from there. But fans are looking up for Washington, and if you're a Washington fan, you should be happy with that. Number 12. Number 12, we're going to go the Charlotte Hornets. I talked about them a little bit on the preview. LaMelo has not made a difference in winning. I'm interested to see what Brandon Miller does. We have some very good young and talented players on this team. Colin Sexton got traded there, so I'm expecting him to be the sixth man. They still have Trey Mann. He was coming on late in the season last year. Miles Bridges, Spencer Dinwiddie, decent team. You even got some veterans. You got Pat Connaughton. I don't really see them making a wave in the East. Maybe somewhat fight for a play-in, but I don't see them really having much of an impact in the play-in route, but anything can happen, so we'll see where they go from there. There's going to be some teams that might surprise you in my top 5 or 6, so we're getting a little closer. Up next, we're going to have the Miami Heat. We know that Tyler Hill is going to be out for a month or two to start the year. That's a big blow to them. And a team that does not have a lot of talent on there. A lot of big round draft picks, I should say, not talent, because they're still a talented team. We know they're going to come in. They're going to be in the right shape. That's the Spoelstra way. But I don't think they're going to be a play-in team. I think they're going to be on the outside looking in. I think losing Tyler Hill for a while is going to really hurt. But I still think they have a shot to get close. And Norman Powell is going to have to step up and be the guy. We know how good he is. We know he's having a career resurgence, so to speak, in Los Angeles for the last couple of years. They need even more than that from him, especially without Tyler Hill for a while. So if Norman Powell can turn it on and do a little bit better, hey, maybe we have something in Miami. Maybe we fight for a play-in spot. That would be, let's see. So that is number 11. We have 15. Let's recap here. We have 15 Brooklyn, 14 Chicago, 13 Washington, 12 Charlotte, 11 Miami. So Miami I have just missing the play-in for you guys keeping track. Number 10. This is where it gets tough because this is our play-in stuff right now. Number 10, I think I'm going to go with the Philadelphia 76ers. And that's because I don't trust the health. If I could sit here and I could say Joel Embiid's healthy, I would say they are a top 5 team in the Eastern Conference, no doubt. I cannot believe Joel Embiid's straight healthy and he's going to be playing all season. So I can't say that. Paul George was injured a lot, and he was up and down in the season last year. I can't say he's going to be healthy. We already saw that they're going to be without Jared McCain for a while, for a few months into the season. I'm interested to see what their draft pick does. Quentin Grimes hasn't re-signed yet with them. He was a big part of coming on late last season. So I just don't know where Philly stands. And right now I just don't believe in them, and I don't believe in the health they have. So I have them at number 10 and fighting to get in the playoffs. Number 9. We have some options here. I'm going to go the Indiana Pacers. And yes, they were in the Eastern Conference Finals, won the Eastern Conference last season, went to the NBA Finals. That was with Tyrese Halliburton. That was also with Miles Turner. That was also with Thomas Bryant. They lost quite a few key pieces. They will not have Halliburton for the year, and they will not have the centers that are. So we're playing a fourth-string center for the Pacers, and no Halliburton, no Lito. I still think they're going to be good, and they're going to compete, but that, to me, they're not the threat to come out of the East. And I really don't expect them to make it in from the play-in either. And that's not to discredit anyone on that Pacers team, because all of those guys fought their butts off in the playoffs especially and really showed out. I just don't think they have it to make it all the way there. Up next, we're going to go number 8. We're going to go Toronto. Toronto, I actually love what they did last year. I love the getting Brandon Ingram at the trade deadline. We didn't see him play for them, but they have a lineup where we have Emmanuel Quickley, R.J. Barrett, Scotty Barnes, Brandon Ingram, and Jakob Porto in your starting lineup. That's a pretty good starting lineup. Not only pretty good, but very long and lanky. That's going to cause a lot of defensive issues and struggles for some teams around. So it's interesting, but I really like what Toronto did, and Toronto is my biggest surprise team. They have a team I think is going to deliver the most surprise, and they, even if they play up to the way we know that able to, if they gel together, I could see them missing the play-in and just being a playoff team and being a shocker. So Toronto is my surprise team, and they come in at number 8. Number 7, we're going to go with Boston Celtics. Yes, for Celtics. Without Jason Tatum, I think it's going to be tough to come across wins. We also seen them have to give up Drew Holiday, Kristaps Porzingis. We did see Anthony Simons for Holiday, but really bad defensively, and I don't believe he's going to be bad defensively for the Celtics. But that was the narrative in Portland. In Portland, just in general, they were not an amazing defensive team. They came on late defensively, but still not great. I don't believe they're going to be that bad defensively, and I don't think Simons is going to be that bad defensively. But you're trading in one of the best guard defenders for the man with a historically low defensive rating. That's tough, and defense is going to help you win in this league. So, I think it's going to be tough. But if Tatum comes back in their 7th seed, and they make it in, and they go up against, say, anyone in the 4th round with Tatum on that roster, you have a shot to win and make a playoff run. So seeding doesn't really matter. If you get everyone back healthy, you still could be a threat in the playoffs. Up next, this is where it gets tough. Our 6 teams left is Milwaukee, New York, Cleveland, Detroit, Atlanta, and Orlando. And this is where it gets tough because we don't know how Atlanta and Orlando is really going to look. There are wild cards. We aren't really sure about them. So at that point, I'm going to say Milwaukee number 6, though. And I'm going with them number 6 because they don't really have a true point guard. I mean, Kevin Porter Jr. is going to get guys involved. How does he work in a constant lineup with Giannis? Was it so great last year when both of them were on the floor together offensively? And Kyle Kuzma really didn't do much of anything really offensively towards the end of last year. And we know Kuzma's kind of a defensive liability too at times, so that can be a problem. And Miles Turner replacing Damian Lillard, like scoring-wise, I don't think that works well. So I see Milwaukee kind of bringing up the tail end of these 6 Eastern Conference squads. Up next, we have New York, Cleveland, Atlanta, Detroit, and Orlando left. Ooh, this is tough. I'm going to go with Detroit next. Detroit at the number 5 seed. I think Bickerstaff's done a great job turning these guys around, and I believe they're an actual threat to come out of the East because we saw the level Cade Cunningham goes to in the playoffs, and that was his first playoffs, and that was another level that this kid took, and he took that step up. So even as a 5th seed, I think they could knock off a 4th seed and possibly go to the next round and give a, say, New York or Cleveland, if they're number 1, a run for their money and maybe come out on top. Who knows? Because Cade Cunningham's been that guy in the playoffs, and it would surprise me if he continues to be that guy in the playoffs and he even takes a step forward. And Detroit as a squad, I most definitely expect them to be better than last year. So 5th, it's a walk-up. They shot up in the first year. I think it's going to go a little bit slower in the next year because teams are going to know what to expect from playing Detroit. But I still think they're going to be right there. Number 4, I have Atlanta. And this goes a lot on the health the health of Porzingis, the health of Jalen Johnson. We've seen both of them miss numerous games in the last couple seasons. But I expect Zachary Worcester to take a step forward. He had a pretty good rookie year. We know they still have Trae Young. They got Nickeil Walker-Alexander. I love the Atlanta team. I do think they could be higher than a 4, possibly a 2 or 3 if they stay healthy. But because we don't know about health, I'm going to have them at 4. They also don't have Clint Capella anymore. Okongwu played great, though, so I expect him to move into possibly that starting center spot. If you want to play big and put Porzingis at the 4, that is, of course. Or you play small and you put Zachary Worcester at the 4, and you put Porzingis at the 5. You could even do Jalen Johnson at the 4. Dyson Daniels at the 2, Trae Young at the 1. It's going to be fun lineups in Atlanta, and a really good young team and fun team to watch for sure. Orlando I have at number 3. I think the Magic are going to take a huge step forward. I think Desmond Bane, I don't like that you gave up 4 first-round picks for him, but I do think he's going to be a big help offensively. And I think he's the guy to help propel you and to get more out of the team in general. We saw them struggle a lot offensively. Defensively, no. They did struggle, and we know Desmond Bane can defend. So, with that being said, and getting Jalen Suggs back healthy, Orlando's going to be a force to be reckoned with. I've said it before, and I say it again. I think in the 2 series Orlando's played in against Cleveland and Boston the last 2 seasons, I think Paolo is arguably the best player in both of those series. And that's saying something when you're going against Donovan Mitchell and Jason Tatum. So, huge future ahead of Orlando, and Paolo don't get talked about as much as he should. That guy's a superstar. And I'm expecting Franz Wagner to step up. He struggled, especially shooting last year. So I'm expecting him come back, have a little bit more confidence after some feeble play. And I think Orlando is going to be a really good team. Number 2, I have the New York Knicks. New York Knicks would be my favorites going into the season to come out of the East. That don't mean I necessarily believe they're the team that's going to come out of the East, but I think from playoff experience, they're that team. You did get rid of Tom Thibodeau, and now you're trying Mike Brown. I'm not huge on that coaching switch just because I've never really seen Mike Brown be that guy to get you over the hump and to win a championship. We've never seen that. So I don't know that he's that guy to do that, and that's a little bit why I'm iffy, and that's why I have them at number 2 and not number 1, is one of the reasons. But I love the improvements. I love the bench improvements, the Yabusele, the Jordan Clarkson, Malcolm Brogdon. I love those improvements, and I think these guys are going to play. If they're going to get a lot of time under Mike Brown over Tom Thibodeau, and at that point, that's an improvement. If they're going to be dangerous in the playoffs because they have the experience of going to the conference finals, I think they're knocking on that door and they're trying to figure their way out of the Eastern Conference. Number 1, I have Cleveland. It's probably not a surprise to many of you because Cleveland, especially on paper, last season they were dominant in the regular season. I expect much more of the same. I do think all in all, it's a 2-team race to come out of the East right now. And anyone could surprise and anyone could break through. We saw the Pacers do that. But I think it's New York or it's Cleveland coming out of the Eastern Conference. Cleveland did get Lonzo Ball via trade for Isaac Okoro. I think that was a great move for Cleveland. I think Lonzo Ball is more what Cleveland needs. They did lose Ty Jerome. I'm not huge on that move. But you also got Larry Nance Jr. to back up Evan Mobley. And you got a big boost, in my opinion, on a backup center with Thomas Bryant. I love that sign-in. I love how he spoke on Media Day. He spoke like a leader of a team that can go and compete for a championship. And he's done that before. He's won one in Denver. So he's been there. He's done that. And I believe he's going to help bring physicality to the team and help toughen up like Evan Mobley and Jared Allen, which we know that's at times looks like what Cleveland's really lacking. Now, predictions for the conference finals. I do think it'll be Cleveland and New York. Predictions on coming out of the Eastern Conference. I have Cleveland. So next episode, we'll do our Western Conference preview. We'll go who's coming out of the West in my predictions. And then we'll do another completely different episode on who I think's winning the NBA Finals in this my projected NBA Finals series. Thank you guys for watching. And please tune into my Western Conference playoff preview. Season preview too.